Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dustin Lukey. Earlier this year, the Natural Resources Board in Wisconsin approved PFAS standards for surface water and municipal water systems based on 2016 EPA numbers that have since been updated. Now, advocates across the state are petitioning the board to include PFAS standards for groundwater as it's used for agriculture production and everyday necessities for many. News 19's Crystal Flintrip spoke with those on the front lines of this new fight for clean water.
We really don't want any other community to have to go through what we've gone through.
Two Wisconsin organizations, SOH2O and the League of Women Voters, are fighting to get groundwater standards for PFAS after what they call a disappointing and politically driven decision by the Natural Resources Board.
One thing that is unique about our state's groundwater law is that there isn't a parallel federal law. It's only the state's responsibility to regulate and protect groundwater.
Representing the two groups, Midwest environmental advocates say there are nearly 1 million people in Wisconsin with wells that rely on groundwater as their main source of drinking water. One area affected, the town of Campbell.
When we first found out almost 2 years ago that there was a possibility that our water was contaminated, we started changing our lifestyle and our habits. You know, you have to keep a separate bottle of water in your bathroom to rinse off your toothbrush. But it changes your life when you have kids and you used to let them run through the sprinkler with their mouth open, drink out of the backyard hose. You can't let them do those things anymore. How do you explain to a toddler? How do you explain to a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old who's been drinking out of the tap their whole life that now all of a sudden it's no longer safe?
Studies have linked the forever chemical to severe health conditions like cancers, thyroid disease, and decreased immune response.
And if you compare PFAS, especially PFOA and PFOS, to something like arsenic, which is what they use in rat poison, it's 1,000 times more toxic.
Tony says the right to clean water is something that everyone should have.
It's not just people who get their water from the city or from municipal systems that deserve to be protected from PFAS compounds. It's all Wisconsinites.
In the town of Campbell, I'm Crystal Flintrip, News 19.
Now, if the petition is granted, it will go to the Wisconsin Department of Health Services, which will then recommend standards for PFAS. The DNR would then propose to adopt those suggested standards.